Thank you for listening to our podcast. My name is Ronan, and my comrade across from me is Phil.
Comrade.
We'd just like to point out that any opinions or facts, if you like, that are expressed in this podcast are our own, and we are very open to correction. So with that, we hope you enjoy the podcast.
Okay, so last week or the week before, we were talking about Churchill and his famous. There's a gene named after him now. As a doctor, you might know this. And we were talking about the fact that he was drunk during the Second World War, fighting
Pretty
the
much
Nazis,
all the time.
Smoking, and he lived to the age of 90.
I think he had a bottle of champagne, or at least a glass of champagne for breakfast every day.
Lovely, good man. I was chatting to a person who, I think you're going to debunk this, but they were saying that for the average age of a child born now will live till 125. Is that absolute nonsense?
Totally.
Do you think? Yeah.
I think, I don't, very funny thing, Futurama, done by, what's his name, Matt Groening. One of the characters, Professor Fry, is supposed to be 150 or whatever. Right. And I think the joke is, obviously, as we, 1,000 years in the future, we're going to be living longer and longer and longer.
Yeah.
But I don't think so. I think the human being, like anything, dogs, cats, trees, tortoises, have an average or lifespan, and you can be plus or minus that, but not by infinitely,
Yeah. But why go? If we look at, say, ancient Rome, the average age there was about 22.
Yeah.
Now that's because you had the army. That was the big thing. A lot of people died in the army.
So they're all getting their guts ripped out with bayonets. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think boys would join the army as well. So.
Oh God, yeah.
But then it sort of progressed onwards. I would presume around the 15th century, we would maybe 40, 45. Would that be about accurate?
Probably even more recent than that in terms of increased human average lifespans.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's generally only since the 1930s or something that has gone to the roof. Or are we talking the 1830s, 1850s?
Well, I think we, on a previous pod, mentioned that Bismarck's, he was the first to bring in an old age pension at 65. And at that time, the 1880s, 1870s?
Yeah.
That was really good going. Most people were pretty much gone or on the way out by then.
Yeah.
So I tell you, I saw a very interesting clip of an interview with, I think it's Neil deGrasse Tyson, the American scientist, and he's very good at, explaining things in a good, forthright way, which of course he has to be in the current climate in the States, which is quite anti-science. And he sort of said that, okay, you go back to our Stone Age guys living in caves, okay?
Yeah.
They were all pretty much, an old man for them was 30. And ironically, they were eating nothing but organic food.
Oh my God. Actually, when you think about it, yeah. It was all straight from the ground.
Oh, yeah.
No
well, I mean, or they caught it and killed it and skinned it and ate it,
Nice.
But,
is that why we have the appendix? Is it to digest grass? Is that true?
I think so.
Because we don't use it now, right? It's not.
No, it's redundant. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it has some sort of immune function, but essentially it's a remnant. Like we do have a tail, for example, or the tailbone. There's the little coccyx, or there's a few tiny bones all one on top of each other. Yeah. And in a dog, for example, those are much longer, i.e. a tail. So I mean,
this is a stupid question, but if someone is born with webbed feet or webbed hands, that's not something from our reptilian time, is it? Or is it just...
No, it means they probably are related to Aquaman.
Okay. But you have kids who are born with that stuff, and they have webbed feet. And we were a part of alligator at the time, or a part of lizard,
Well, do you know a very interesting thing? If you look at... what was that?
That's just us. Go on.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, if you look at pictures, I've seen a thing where... pictures side by side of, if you like, embryos. Okay, so you've got an embryo of a horse, of a sea, a fish, a human being, whatever. Actually, they look very similar.
Do they?
Yeah. And if you think about it, we're all animals adapted to our environment.
Yeah.
So that means we have an oxygen nitrogen mix in the atmosphere.
Yep.
we're tolerant only in a certain range of temperature, and so on. So it makes sense that there would be some commonality, particularly in the so-called developmental stage. So, yeah,
I think it's, as far as I know, is longevity done to do with heartbeats? There's an average number of heartbeats per animal per lifetime. So if you look at the kingfisher, it has nearly the same number of heartbeats as the elephant does, but the elephant's heartbeat's a lot slower.
Yeah. Well, that's a point. I don't think there's like an actual number, but it makes sense, doesn't it? If you're a hummingbird and your heart's going at, I don't know, 150 plus beats a minute, compared to an elephant, what, a lot less than that.
A lot less than
that,
yeah.
Of course. Yeah, but there are other factors too,
There is a jellyfish that's called the immortal. And it... okay, I'm going to get this completely wrong, so any biologist listening...
That's okay, we're open to correction.
But it's something like this, that when it's under attack, it gets rid of its adult body.
Oh, like it sheds.
Yes, and it's left with its prepubescent body.
Oh.
So it grows again.
That's interesting.
And it keeps going, and it keeps going, and it keeps going. And
have you any idea how long they live?
Well, the ones they have in captivity are still there.
Wow.
Like, they don't die because of the genes, or not genes, because of the cells that they have that literally regenerate again. And it's something to do with this, and again, a biologist would know better than me, but when any animal hits puberty, apparently there's part of the gene that becomes the sort of death gene.
Like the clock starts ticking kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, running down.
So the job is done to get it from childhood to adulthood.
Okay.
But now it's a waste of resources.
Until you've done your bit.
Yeah, and have a few kids and that's it.
That's
and shag off, Like
you're just use this pile of meat and bones.
Like, it is brutal nature, isn't it?
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah. I mean, you ever look at these wildlife programs and you see these little cute, tiny little animals, like we talked about before, like seals being devoured by feckin' orcas. You know? Actually, just to finish that thing about Neil deGrasse Tyson, just very simply, he said, like, our ancestors ate really, well, essentially healthy, blah, blah. But right up until maybe a couple of 100 years ago, life expectancy had really only gone up to about 35, 40, if you're lucky, over thousands of years. And now in the last couple of 100 years, it's now up to 70, 80. And why is that? Well, vaccinations, public health, sanitation, antibiotics, you name it.
The aqueducts.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, like the Romans. They gave the Romans,
but why, So why technically can it not keep going? Like, can we not regenerate cells, or is this all sci-fi nonsense?
Well, that's the funny thing. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I would have thought there was this big hullabaloo sort of 30 years ago where it was the Human Genome Project, and they actually mapped, for the first time ever, the complete human DNA.
Can you explain that to me? I've tried to understand the concept of that, of Crick and Watson. And what they did, they found out that the human genome was a double helix.
Yeah.
What the hell are they looking at? Are they looking at a blood cell? I get so confused, or not confused. I find it very hard to understand DNA.
I know, because we're talking about, like, ultra microscopic level here.
Yeah. And there's 4 things, right?
Yeah, was it A, T, G, something?
C.
Yeah, C.
You know,
okay.
movie,
what are they? Amino acids or something?
Yeah. Do you know? I think one's a protein. But do you know that the movie Gattaca?
Yes.
Name me the letters in the title Gattaca.
G-A-T-T-I-C-A.
Which is G, A, T, and C.
Ah, well, there you go. Well done.
It's named after the 4 parts of the DNA.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, I have no clue how, like, I guess they just probably figured out, what was the likely configuration. Oh yeah, lads, if we have this thing and the coding, we can have an infinite amount of whatever. But how they did it, I don't know. But I do know
my knowledge goes to Jurassic Park.
Oh yes. Well, you see,
Mr. DNA.
It's very easy.
Yeah.
You just find a mosquito in some amber, and out it comes.
Yeah, and you just splice this and splice that.
Yeah, and continually you'll open and reopen parks with really crappy security systems.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like, did they never learn the lesson? It's Jurassic Park 2. You're going, okay, fair enough. That was outside. That was off the island.
Yeah.
Jurassic Park 3, they're back on the island. They flew off the island.
Yeah.
But the fourth one, it's kind of like just...
Oh, you mean these are the reboots?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just...
God,
mind you,
frankly, garbage.
I do remember the first one, and my God, I'm so impressed with the first one. It was mind-blowing.
Yeah.
It really
I mean,
was.
I liked it, but it wouldn't be my favorite. You know the way...
I saw it 13 times.
Really?
Yeah. I just could not believe that dinosaur on screen.
Yeah.
That big one.
No, it was impressive. Yeah.
Jeez,
For me, though, the movie that totally blew me away was Terminator 2.
Yeah.
So it was awesome.
Was there any dinosaurs in that?
Oh, no. Far more better stuff. You know,
Yeah.
Terminators and the future and all that stuff. But, yeah. No, the funny thing about every single Jurassic Park movie I've ever seen, by and large, is very simple. They opened this theme park in a remote island and they recreated or rebirthed dinosaurs. They're all, criminally incompetent.
Yeah.
And someone's a total tool and turns off, so there's a disaster and they're like, oh my God, has this ever happened before?
Yes.
And then, the heroes or, the kids or Chris, what's his name, Pratt, or whatever. Or, the red-haired one, she's the daughter of Happy Days dude.
Lovely, yeah.
Anyway, she's obviously running for her life from a giant in high heels. Like, come on. Yeah. So there's a lot of nonsense in it. And here's the thing. What happens at the end? Oh my God, they're going to get eaten by the raptors. Yeah. And then a bigger dinosaur comes and eats the raptors. And I swear to God, it's every single one I've seen, same plot.
Yeah, exactly.
Rinse and repeat.
Yeah. Well, I think it's maybe just kids love it. You know what I mean? It's a good story. You know.
Well, it makes money. That's the bottom line.
I suppose.
That's why there's 10 Fast and Furious.
Michael Crichton did.
He was a doctor,
He did Westworld.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And guess who directed Westworld? I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure.
No, the original one with Yul Brynner.
James Cameron, or not the? Who did the first Terminator?
Oh no. Well, it was James Cameron. He did both Terminator 1 and 2.
Terminator 1 is very much like Yul Brynner in Westworld.
He is a bit, isn't he?
A machine that can't be stopped. And Jurassic Park is a theme park that went wrong, which is what Michael Crichton wrote about.
That's true.
Yeah. And I think it's James Cameron did Westworld. I think.
I'm not really sure because he's actually in the credits of Escape from New York, 1981, right?
Okay.
And he's in the credits. He's not a director, but he's one of the kind of, main technical guys. And he's credited on it as Jim Cameron.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Right.
But I don't know. That's one to look up. But I really enjoyed Westworld. It was kind of cool,
It was kind of old-fashioned looking at it, but I'm sure you're watching it at the time.
Although apparently the HBO remake is apparently very good.
Just for
at
those
least
that
the first
know,
2 seasons.
Westworld is a theme park where you can go, and it's Western world. So you can go to Future World and all these different worlds, but you can go to Westworld, which is like a Western movie.
Or the Roman world or something.
Roman world. But Yul Brynner is a cowboy, and he's a robot.
Like he's a gunslinger.
Yeah. But then suddenly he becomes aware, and he sees what's going on, and he starts chasing the people who
gets a bit tired of being shot all the time.
No, he has to basically go out every single time.
Oh, yeah.
And reshoot. So deGrasse Tyson then was saying that, so you don't think this concept of kids living to 125 born today is possible without cryogenics?
Well, of course. I'll never know. I mean, I'll be dead. But no, I just think it's unlikely because the oldest person, like verifiably with a verifiable age, was a French woman, Jean Calmeyer. Anyway, she died age 122 in 1997.
122.
122.
So she was born in 1875.
Yep, and she is, I think, the only one who's made it to the next oldest that I know of is some Japanese guy. I think he was 119. So, like, out of billions of human beings, well, as far as we know, at least since the modern era, we only know of a handful of these super centurions, and also, like, the thing about aging is it's not a straight line. I mean, the way if you know the way your friends' kids, right? You haven't seen them a couple of years, and suddenly they're big lanky teenagers. You're like, oh my god, you know.
Jesus, I know, yeah.
Same thing with like, I guess your parents, because for a long, long time, you know, you look at your dad, you just see him. He looks like he was in his 50s and 60s, and then suddenly, geez, he's aged a lot.
I think it's a fascinating thing about people, and I made a little video about this, but it's kind of people don't really age when I've met them. And then it's 20 years later.
Yeah.
They look like, say, someone I see every 2 weeks or something like that. Yeah. They don't look any different.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, they are completely different.
Oh, yeah.
But you look at the photos.
But it's been so gradual.
Yeah. Some fat bastard who's bald now, you know? And it's kind of like when you first met them, they were like svelte and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah. Ripped,
yeah. But it's weird like that. So you sort of don't realize it. And I sort of guess that as you get older, you know, with couples, they probably don't look any different the day they met them, you know? That type of thing.
No, not really. I mean, barring things like, you know, you lose a fair bit of weight or something, you know. Yeah. But, no, but I think we definitely sort of age, not linearly, but if you can imagine a series of aging with a plateau in between, you know?
Yeah.
And, I mean, there's lots of examples. I mean, look at what's his name? Keanu Reeves. Yeah. You know, I mean, he's the real John Dorian. I bet he's got a portrait in the attic.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
But yeah, it's
Dorian Gray, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. John Dorian.
Who's John Dorian?
No idea. Oh, wait a minute. I'm thinking of the guy from Scrubs.
Oh yeah.
DJ.
Yeah. There was a very JD. There was a very good Gary Larson cartoon. Do you remember Gary Larson did The Far Side?
Oh yeah, The Far Side, brilliant.
One of them was it was the portrait of Dorian Gray and his dog. And there was two portraits, one of Dorian Gray and one of this dog, a really old dog and a really old Dorian Gray. Yeah. And out in the back garden, they're both playing the dog and Dorian Gray.
Brilliant.
It's such a smart author.
I mean, that's
cartoonist.
You know, talking longevity, dogs. I mean, dear God, 10, 15 years gone, younger for some breeds. I mean, it's cruel. You know, these wonderful creatures who are pretty smart and incredibly loyal, and then they shuffle off their mortal's coils.
It is an odd age for a canine. You think a domesticated canine would live longer. You know, it's like the range that they have for animals. I think, you know, you've got the elephant, and I think the crocodile is the longest.
I think, or would it be the tortoise? You know, those
tortoise. Yes, that's right.
But they're kind of similar. They're, I guess, reptilian.
Yeah.
Are they? Yeah.
And it's kind of for a dog to die at 15 or 10 to 15. But the bigger dogs die earlier.
They do.
Yeah. Now it's amazing how nature's picked them to go so quickly. Because
it's a wonder, isn't it?
Because they are servants for human beings, and you think the longer a servant. A slave, exactly.
Well,
lives that you just feed, and is an incredibly useful tool to human beings. It's amazing longevity hasn't gone through.
You know the way you look at an old dog? They look old. Like they've got grey snouts. You know, they just wear out quicker. You know, and I suppose, as I say, when we were living, luckily, 35 was, geez, check out that old fella there. You know. You get through what, 2 dogs in your life?
That's right,
But like the rest of us now, like, my God, we have multiple dogs, you know?
Yeah.
You know, and they really are like members of the family. So it's,
they are, yeah. I think it's an amazing thing, dogs. Like there's a pub in Rana, and if you bring a dog in, they take a picture of it and they put it on the wall.
Really? Actually, there's lots of places now are dog friendly. It's great.
Yeah, it seems to be. It's kind of the end thing that people have. Well, I think COVID, a lot of people got dogs.
Yeah,
especially because if you're stuck 2 years indoor.
Yep.
And you got kids, you might as well get a bloody dog for the kids to go play with, you know. So at least you can play the back garden.
Most dogs are great. You know? I mean, they're very good for us as owners. You know, they get you out, they get you, you get you off the couch. You know, you've no choice.
I love when dogs come into old age homes, and it's amazing.
Oh, I'd love to. Yeah,
they bring 2 or 3 like labs in or something like that. Yeah, and how it cheers everybody up. It's extraordinary. And the dogs just go over and just sniff and wag their tail. And give them a few bones or whatever, or snacks,
treats or whatever.
And it's amazing how it brightens up people's lives. You know?
Oh, totally. Yeah. But you know what's interesting about it? I think it's particularly retrievers. They're genetically bred to love human attention and giving attention. It's almost like giving them a morphine, or a big oxytocin rush. They love it.
Someone said to me, and it kind of makes me depressed about dogs. But they said the dog is the perfect parasite.
Oh yeah.
And if you think about it, you feed it, you bring it to the vet. Yeah. You house it.
You pick up its poop.
You look after it, and all it has to do is wag its tail.
That's it.
And it is a perfect parasite if you think about it like that.
Although I feel security is their main role. I mean, our fella, we have a Bernese Mountain Dog, and he's the best dog ever. I mean, obviously that's not even my opinion. I think that's fact. Yeah. But he how he, if you like, earns his keep. He's an unbelievable. I mean, security. Like in our area, it's pretty nice area, South Dublin. But you look on the the Residents Association WhatsApp chat, which I keep permanently muted because it's usually a load of crap.
Ding.
But the thing is, you'll hear loads of things like, "Oh, so the house up there was broken into last night," quite regularly, or people breaking into cars outside. And they're obviously petty thieves or people feeding an addiction or whatever.
So something quick to nick.
Absolutely. I mean, if you think about it, you don't get much from breaking into a car these days. Maybe €100 of something worth, whatever.
Of course, there's no car stereos anymore.
No, only they're all integrated. Wow. So there's really little point to doing it, and you're taking a big risk because if you're caught, you go to jail and you got a criminal conviction. So it's usually desperate people. But the thing is, anyone comes into our house, into our driveway, Oscar goes mad.
Does he?
Bark, 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 bark. And I mean, he's a big dog bark. Of course, when you open the door, he's looking at them with doe eyes. But
But still, though, it'll put that little bit of fear into you, or a bit of doubt.
Well, the thing is, with all security, I think, it's just that if there's guys casing out the street, right, we're going to hit a few houses tonight, and they say, oh, God, there's a big dog in there. Okay, we'll leave that one. That's the thing,
Well, there is, I've seen sort of David Attenborough type thing footage of a troop of monkeys.
Oh, yeah?
That every so often they go and they nick a few puppies. So, they'd be living outside a city somewhere, and they go into the city, and there's lots of stray dogs there. So they go in.
So they adopt them.
And they nick 3 or 4 of the puppies, carry them off, and in a year's time, they go back, and there's the puppies who are acting as guard dogs.
Wow.
For the monkeys.
So they're actually the monkeys. So in other words, primates like to keep dogs.
Yeah, and the monkeys feed them, and they keep them tied up.
Yeah.
So they can't. Well, they give them a battering if they run off. So they usually come back. The dogs usually come back. But it's kind of, or the dogs don't run off in the first place.
I'll tell you.
But it is, it's a perfect warning system for
But that's it, security. Because their senses are incredible. Smell, hearing, eyesight, good in some ways. I think they're better night vision than we do.
Yeah.
Another real example of how our fella earns his keep. I think it was 2 nights ago. Liz, I was still up. It was about midnight or so, and Liz was asleep. And what happened was, the way if you hear these foxes at night, they're like screeching kids.
I think that's where the banshee comes from.
You're right.
Do you remember
I think you're right.
There's an Irish myth, and she's called the banshee.
Yeah.
And she's a red-headed woman that sits on top of your house. I remember hearing this as a kid. Jesus.
It's like a wailing spirit who foretells doom or something.
Yeah, and if she combs her hair, and if she gives her comb to you or something, like you're going to be dead the next day.
Exactly.
But I remember being told a story, and you'd hear the foxes outside, like a
Oh, yeah, it's dreadful.
Oh, my God.
I mean, we've as I'd say most areas in Dublin now, because they've no fear of humans anymore.
Yeah.
Foxes all over the place. Yeah. But just what happened was Liz said there was like 2 foxes obviously going at each other in the garden.
Yeah.
And she was like, God's sakes, I want to go to sleep.
Yeah.
So what does she do? Open the front door, let Oscar out. No more foxes. Yeah. Gone. They scattered.
What would you put your money on, a fox versus a cat? Which?
That's true. Depends. A big cat, maybe the cat, but I mean your average smaller cat. I think a fox probably.
You think a fox would do it?
Well, I think they're known to kill cats.
Are they?
Oh, I'd say so. Yeah.
Because I'm sort of wondering about all the foxes we have around the area. It's like they must be eating rats and mice.
Oh, they're eating everything. I think
good
bits
thing,
of
though.
a lot of garbage, like, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's trying to
Human waste.
It's also keeping at least it keeps the rat population down. I remember when I was living down in West Cork, and they had
on the cow tipping island, was it?
The farmer had 8 cats.
Oh yeah,
and he never fed them ever.
Really?
And therefore, his farm had no mice or no rats. You know, they just the cats were just absolutely predatory. Just kill any rat.
Oh, they're incredible hunters.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you know, they can catch things like small birds who are huge reflexes. You know, whereas dogs just, you know, crash into the place and then everything scatters. You know,
why do you think we domesticated cats? What reason?
Well, just what you said, pest control.
Pest control.
Like, you know, if you have these cats, and I funny joke, you know, the way someone was saying, a dog, the average dog is the intelligence of a 3-year-old human being and can learn hundreds of words and that, you know. And meanwhile, a cat, well, they're sick of your shit and they don't care.
They don't want to bother learning.
There
were one of the big outbreaks of plague, either in the 14th century or the one in 1667 or 1665, before the Great Fire in London or after. Can't remember what.
Or was that Venice as well? Do you remember?
Yeah,
they had those masks.
That's right. It's real sort of horror masks.
Yeah,
they used to put up. They're like long noses.
Yeah,
and they used to put up herbs into.
That's right.
Yeah, which
so the idea was to filter the air.
But at first in London, they thought the cats were doing it. So then they killed
the cats.
All the cats. And of course, you kill all the cats, explosion of rats.
God. And by the way, it wasn't even the rat, it was the fleas on the rat.
The fleas on the rats.
Yeah.
So I suppose back at that time, you didn't have a damn clue. So you were going, you know, okay, what the hell is it doing? It's like, this is going to be a very controversial topic. It's like smallpox and the North American Indians.
Oh yeah, the native, I guess.
Did they
the indigenous people? Yeah.
Did the colonists actually know what smallpox was, or did they know it was a virus?
No,
they couldn't have, right?
No, because
So did they give the Indians the blankets? Like, I've heard this is actually a myth that they gave the Indians blankets.
These plague infested.
Yeah, but how the hell are they going to get smallpox if they can't see it? It doesn't.
No,
make
it's
sense.
It's simply that you know, smallpox got imported to North America by Europeans. You know, it came from Europe and spread, but like, you know, COVID spread from China. You know, that's what happens. I mean, viruses, bugs, they don't give a damn about national borders.
Yeah,
they'll spread it any way they can.
Amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, I just. What was I saying? Yeah, the whole thing is... No, I don't... You mentioned the guys in Venice with the big long masks filtering the air. Well, interestingly, apparently, I think that did have some effect in preventing infection, if you think about it.
Yeah.
But, so they arrived on if you like, the right solution for the time, but for the wrong reasons, because they thought it was due to so-called miasma, bad smells, you know, like malaria, bad air. So, you know, and it was only in the, you know, the 1900s or whatever, the 19th century, that they started to twig that actually it's in the water, guys. You know, it's waterborne. So they figured out the source of it, and then later on, as they developed technology with microscopes and all, they could actually identify microorganisms.
Actually see it,
yeah.
It was in the building of the Panama Canal. The French were the first to have a go at it.
Oh yeah,
I think around the 1850s, 1840s, something like that.
It was
a bit later.
They did the Suez first, and then I think the same company tried to do the Panama.
But they had the workers. There was like 40,000 workers died or something.
Yeah,
and
yellow fever.
Yeah. And then the US took over the project, and as far as I know, this is where napalm was originally used.
Really?
That they just went in and just burnt all the
shit
swamps. And killed.
Amazing, huh?
Now, whether they knew it was the what's the insect that transfers mosquitoes? Whether they knew it was the mozzies, I'm not too sure.
Say at that stage, probably
they would have known.
That would have been about around the late 1890s, 1900s, I think.
So then they just basically firebombed the whole of the section they were going to use.
Wow.
And therefore the workers were, at least they were safe from that. They were going to die from that, you know.
I mean, now, of course, we have a vaccination for it, but it wasn't available then.
Yeah.
No, actually, I may have mentioned, you know, the way I'm no fan of, what's his name, RFK Jr., I think he's a nut. Most shocking thing I heard about him was he doesn't believe in germ theory. Okay? What is germ theory? Well, it's that illnesses, disease, and so on are caused by bacteria, viruses, microorganisms, that. But he is actually... He's gone back to like the pre-19th century. It's like, oh yeah, bad smells, bad this, bad that. No, like, you know.
Are you sure now about that? That sounds very odd.
Well, that's what I've heard from a few sources. You know, and by the way, his actions are.
I'll double check that for next week.
Yeah. Well, no, true.
Yeah.
But,
Look, that sounds a bit way out there.
Oh, he is though. Like you know, sure. Oh God, he's.
I'll double check next week. Yeah, no, it'd be good to check. So it's kind of
not her.
Yeah. So it's
sorry. Yeah.
It's the battle between man and the germ.
Oh yeah.
And I presume the germ is winning.
Evolutionary wise. I mean, they're very adaptable.
They are, aren't they?
I mean, look, you know, thank God we'd be under Martian overlords otherwise.
I know. Yeah. I was reading that book actually, War of the Worlds by H.G.
Oh,
Wells.
really? You've read the original?
God, it's fantastic.
Actually, you know, I think I have too.
Yeah.
As a teenager, yeah.
And I don't think they've ever made one based on the original story. Any of the movies, they're always set in the
maybe
20th century,
BBC,
21st century.
I think, did a TV miniseries.
They did, but the protagonist, it was quite woke, to be honest.
Oh yeah,
it really was just. And after you read the Wells book, you know, you sort of say to yourself, why can't you just do the bloody story that Wells wrote, which is Victorian England? The closest one to become now would have been Jeff Wayne did a musical version of War of the Worlds with Richard Burton as the narrator. Now that's very good.
Okay.
And I think what Jeff Wayne did, he told the story in the 1890s. I think Wells was in the 1895, and he told the story back then. Richard Burton was the narrator, and then so there was some very famous like musicians did the
soundtrack.
The soundtrack
wow.
for it, yeah. But the whole thing is an actual soundtrack. There is no. It was a double-sided double record that came out.
That they just played in time with the music or the pictures.
It has a beautiful opening sound with these haunting violins.
Wow.
Like it really. It does just put the fear of the Jesus into you, you know.
I must say, God, he really... obviously, no futurist gets everything right.
Yeah.
But it's amazing how sometimes they really do. Like, I think where they're talking about the Martians had heat rays, which are obviously like lasers now.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Which I had no idea then.
Yeah.
Or, I think I may have said this to you before, you know when you love movies as much as we do and you look at them all the time. Yeah. If you look at 2001 A Space Odyssey, you know, what is that... 1968, I think it was, right?
What?
Yeah,
Jeez,
yeah. Dad was telling me he saw it as he was not just qualified as doctor, and he went to see it in a cinema round or some panorama cinema, where up there behind the rotunda there, you know. But what was really interesting? Well, do you know this? Okay, there's a scene on the Discovery or whatever the ship, you know, with the HAL controls. Yeah. And so the astronauts, 2 of them, are woken up. The rest of them are still in hypersleep.
That's right.
And they're kind of running around like the inside of the dome of the thing, you know. So there's obviously microgravity or, you know. Yeah. But then you see a scene of them, and it's shot from above, a camera above, sitting at a table having a meal. Mm-hmm. And, you know, probably after they wake up. And what they're looking at, if you look at it, are basically like iPads.
No way.
You know? And obviously, you know, their TVs set into the table. They cut a hole out of,
that was Kubrick did that.
Yeah. I mean, therethere's an iconic bit where on the Pan Am moon shuttle or whatever, there's no gravity, but the stewardess has Velcro type feet, you know. Yeah. And there's a brilliant scene where she's going to the cockpit to give a meal to the pilots, and she kind of walks around like
upside
up
down
onto the ceiling.
Yeah. Yes, right.
Yep.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
And that was actual practical effects. You know, they did it.
Yeah.
She was just. She was on. It was the camera that rotated.
Oh, clever!
And it made it look. Very clever.
Well, that was what George Lucas's big breakthrough was in my limited knowledge. Instead of moving the model, he moved the camera.
Oh, that's actually a good point.
Yeah, because
I think I've seen that in documentaries.
Yeah, because if you look at sci-fi before that, it was always the model was moving on a piece of string.
Well, it was like Gordon? An old hubcap from a Ford on a string.
Yeah.
Like, woo.
Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, But then I think he was the first guy to say, well, why don't we leave the model where it is?
That's interesting. And move the camera dynamically around it.
Yeah, and I think that's.
And I think the advantage of that is you can much more easily control the movement of the camera. Than a model, because when you're moving a model, as you say, all that shaking around and looks crap. Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah,
there used to be this series called Flash Gordon, which is I think in the 1930s. I think it was. And
I rented a movie called Flash Gordon. Yeah, I got an awful shock.
No idea what that is. And it was set in the 30s, but it was just the worst special effects. It was basically you could see the string, right?
Oh God, yeah.
And
like the rocket
with
was
the rocket
basically
and
toilet paper tube with a firecracker at the back. Yeah.
Look, now I don't know if you're going to the cinema in the 30s. Maybe it was amazing.
Well,
maybe it was. Well, wow, look at that.
I think the fact that it was moving pictures was probably amazing.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, Yeah.
But of course, and it's actually I think. Well, I love it. It's guilty pleasure. 1980. Flash Gordon, the remake,
it's brilliant.
Oh, I love it.
I think it's one of the most camp movie ever made.
Oh, I mean, that goes without saying.
But I think it's the most camp movie. The camp is, I think it got the vote as the most camp movie.
It has to be. Yeah.
It's just
that doesn't surprise me.
The colours are,
and of course,
they are fantastic.
Fabulous soundtrack by Queen.
I know, yeah. Jesus, that was the days when you had a band did the actual soundtrack.
Oh yeah, but I mean also. Yeah, the whole thing. Yeah. I mean,
and Brian Blessed.
I just like the bit when
Gordon's eye.
There's a great scene actually where one of the bad guys, the guy with the golden mask, they whatever way Flash fights him, and he kills him, and the guy lands on spikes, and you can see half of them going out of the way because they're actually rubber. But anyway, and of course. They're kind of, he's dead, and then they turn to look, and then they hear this kind of go, and they look back, and like these eyeballs coming out.
Oh yeah,
and like obviously it's some dude's like, right, shove some sheep's eyeballs out. It's marvelous though.
I think I saw that in cinema. I'm pretty sure I did. When was that?
1980.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I think it was a birthday.
Because I'd say
it would have been PG, wouldn't it?
Yeah, probably. I think
there was no ultra violence. It was kind of
and I think basically everything then was either PG,
Clytus. That was your man's
Clytus.
name.
That's the guy.
God, I was just thinking there. Yeah.
But it was either PG or it was like adult. There was no in between.
Yeah.
And I think it was Indiana Jones, the Temple of Doom changed that. That's when they got in the PG-13 and stuff.
Right.
Because
the Temple of Doom.
Yeah, because
okay,
all the
praying to the god,
but also the snakes on the thing, and it's quite gross. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that decided. Oh, hold on, this is a kids' movie. So
I think we went to the cinema once. My sister and myself. We were about say 11ish or 12, and it was in the Bray Twins. Was the cinema at Bray, which is a suburb of Dublin. Yeah. And there was two films on. Mum,
people from County Wicklow would have issue with that.
Yeah. Mum dropped us to what the movie we were going to was Electric Dreams, which is about. I think it was about a computer that falls in love with a woman or a man or something like that.
I think you're right.
So I said to my sister, screw that. This is going to be crap.
Garbage.
Let's go in.
She was probably looking forward to it.
She was. And let's go into the movie next door. And guess what was playing next door?
What?
The Hitcher.
Oh my God.
With Rutger Hauer.
No way.
And Mum picked us up 2 hours later, and the two of us just got in the car, didn't say a word.
You're so traumatized.
Jesus Christ.
Do you remember the scene where...
And I was just talking about the worst for that age to go to,
I mean, there's a scene where Rutger Hauer basically it's toward the end of the movie, he kidnapped the girlfriend of the guy, and he's got her tied between two trucks.
Oh, yes. Jeez.
And he says, if you shoot me, my foot will come off the clutch and it'll pull her apart.
With a smile on his face.
Yeah. But ultimately, I remember he just, and you can imagine her just being pulled apart. Yeah. Just appalling stuff.
I'd say hitchhiking in the States went to zero after that movie.
Well, I mean,
you wouldn't pick one up, you know?
Dear God. Yeah. In a mad country like that.
Yeah. Which is a shame, though, because I'm sure I've done lots of hitchhiking, and I must say I've only had one bad incident where I dropped my guard and I got felt up and all that stuff. But anyway, it's kind of it was stupid of me.
You were probably dressed in a kind of a slutty way.
I was. I had a lovely dress on, a lovely frock.
You were asking for it.
I was flashing a bit of leg as well.
Oh, dear God.
But it's kind of. Like I've had lots of experience with very good hitchhikers, or people picking you up.
I'm joking about that, by the way.
Yeah. And it's kind of nice, like you chat about. I remember I had this lovely man. He was a reverend, and he picked me up in St. John's in Newfoundland.
And do you leave the church after you got out of the car?
But he was a really cool sort of reverend,
Yeah.
And we had a great chat about God and all that stuff. And
that is interesting.
He said, "I'm not forcing anything on you, just want to have a chat." And it was lovely,
No, I don't mind that, because it's great to talk to someone and they kind of try and, I don't know, elaborate their beliefs and explain to you why. But as you say, not say, "You sinner, if you don't repent, you're going to hell.
You're going to hell. You're going to die." Yeah,
unreal. Like I guess. Have you ever see those things on Louis Theroux, the Westboro Baptist Church?
Yeah.
I mean, they really believe they're doing good, by being unbelievably homophobic picketing
gays in the military, wasn't it? That big one.
The thing is, you see, the reason they
fags, they call them. Something like that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, they're like they go to these military funerals where people are probably the worst day of their lives, burying their son or daughter, and they're like, "God hates fags," and blah 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 blah.
I think, didn't the motorcycle gangs start going to these funerals instead?
In some cases, yeah.
To block them, so they would be sort of blocking them with the motorbikes and all that stuff, blocking the Westboro Baptist Church.
Yeah. The city, I think, wherever it is, Kentucky or Kansas or whatever, they've tried to, bar them, but they can't, because actually quite a few of them, including Fred Phelps, the number one guy, was a lawyer. So they took their case all the way to the Supreme Court, and they said, "No, it's freedom of expression."
I asked a good friend of mine who I meet. He's 91, but he grew up in Catholic Ireland.
Joe 90.
Joe, yeah. Well, he's actually Joe 91 now.
Oh, good
but
Lord.
I asked him, did people go to mass back in the 50s and 40s through the love of God or the fear of the devil?
The twitching curtains as well.
He said it was the fear of the devil
really
made them go to mass. So it wasn't. It wasn't
Catholic guilt.
Yeah, well, but even confession, it was like, "Oh, I better go just in case I die, because I'm going to go straight to hell."
Because I died tonight.
Yeah, and it was the fear. I remember doing prayers as a baby, as a kid.
Yeah,
and it was something.
Me too, actually.
God, my soul to keep, or something like that.
Yeah,
and
you try and pray beside your bed. Now, I'm not trying to put down people. In fact, I envy people who have sort of faith. Yeah, because it must be a great comfort.
It is amazing.
The way no one wanted to die in World War I, but these young guys felt, well, if I do die, I'm going to heaven. Yeah.
I went in to see a nun on her last day of life on earth. And
nunning,
occupation, nun.
Yeah.
And it was a cert. It was a guarantee. She was watching the rugby, and her favourite player was Brian O'Driscoll.
Oh yeah.
And Leinster won, so she was very happy.
Wow.
And then she was going to have her dinner, and then that was it. She's off to meet Jesus.
And
there
wasn't her sleep
an iota. No, she was going to die that day.
Oh.
Yeah. And there wasn't an iota of doubt.
No.
I mean, that's... She just said to me, look, she was very good. She actually said, look, I've never preached to you, or, and she didn't. She was a very good friend.
Fair. Was she an auntie of yours?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And she said, but look, open your heart, Phil, and to Jesus, because life is good, and with him. But I walked out, I remember being jealous of her confidence. I
would be too.
Yeah, I was going, fuck, nice,
I'm just too literal a person to kind of, believe it. I think, but hold on, wait a minute, this, that, and the other. It doesn't make sense.
I think there's an evolutionary reason for a religion. I was reading a very good book about the evolution of a religion. religion.
Yeah. And you've also read a lot of these religious texts.
I have, yeah. But one of the great reasons is it's a law unto ourselves. So if you think of the totem pole in North America, the totem pole was representative of the grandparents and the elders.
So it was like a family tree, literally. Yeah, almost. Yeah.
So who had died?
Oh, I didn't know that.
So it was the sort of guardians looking after your town. Okay. So it was your ancestors.
Sadly, it's your average decor in a Texan steakhouse.
Exactly. Yeah. But the point was that if you were a child, you wouldn't steal, or if you were a teenager, you wouldn't steal food, or you wouldn't behave. Well, you would behave badly, but you wouldn't behave badly.
But the majority didn't. Yeah.
But you wouldn't behave badly in the presence of your dead grandparents looking at you.
Yeah, you'd feel the spirits are watching you.
And so they would know what you're up to. Yeah. So it had that reason. It was one of the evolutionary reasons that it was a law unto ourselves. Okay. So it scared us. So it made us behave because of the fear of fear of the consequences of the law.
I mean, it's almost as if religion didn't exist already; they'd have to invent it.
I know, yeah. But I'd say it was probably one of the first things that was made.
Well, I mean, like Neil deGrasse Tyson saying, it's only in the last 150 odd years we've had, all the science to really understand the world. So prior to that, I mean, look, every sentient creature, shall we say, human beings, I don't know, dolphins, whatever, probably, they're aware of their self, they exist. I am, therefore I exist, whatever. But
are we not the only species that's aware of our death?
I don't know. Oh, you mean of our mortality?
Yeah. I thought we were the only species.
I don't think so.
Of course, we can't ask.
I don't think so. Just to say, from the dawn of time, people have probably been asking, what's it all about? Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy hadn't been written by then, so if it had, they'd know the answer is 42. Yeah. But, no.
42, by the way, is a combination of two dice, you know that?
Oh, yes, you told me. That's class.
I wonder, did he do that on purpose?
Oh, probably. I think he was a pretty smart guy. And actually, the follow-on book, or one, there's a few of them, like The Restaurant at the End of the Universe, and a few others.
Very good books, aren't they?
They're great. But what happened was, so basically the Earth was like this mega computer designed to find the meaning of life, and it spits out the answer 42. Yeah. And they're like,
after a million years or something.
Yeah. And then they're going, oh my God. Okay, right. Right, so they build an even bigger computer. Yeah. And then they say, the answer is 42. What is the question? I think ultimately it turns out what is it? My maths is terrible. 7 by...
Yeah. 7 sixes.
Yeah. 42. 7 sixes. There you go. God. But, you ever said about, animals being aware of their mortality? I mean, the way you hear things, elephants' graveyards. Yeah. So they must, know when they're old and sick in the herd. And
I think, though,
if you
ever see dogs, usually a dog will go off and die on its own.
Yeah.
I think the reason they do that and they hide is because they're so sick that they're scared of predators. So they need to go and hide.
Yeah. They can't. Yeah.
They can't defend themselves.
Yeah.
And I think that's why they do that.
Probably, actually.
But I genuinely thought we were the only species that's aware of this, that we are going to die.
Well, maybe it's not so much that the way a lot of us spent our entire lives wondering about when we're going to die, or that, oh my God, I'm dying, whatever. I'm sure most animals don't do that. It's probably just when they're getting sick and all, they do realize probably, yes, this is the end, that I'm going to die.
It's like the male black widow spider. It comes and has sex with the female.
And then eats it, isn't it?
But here's the thing. It leaves, and they cannot figure out why it comes back. So it's done the job. Okay. And it leaves.
Done the deed.
It gets the hell out. Okay. Because spiders are incredibly vicious like that. The male, spiders, like the male is called the wandering male. It just, as far as I know, females are the ones that build nests or build webs. Males don't.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And
there are exceptions. Like, is it emperor penguins? It's the males.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
but mostly it's the female. Yeah,
and also the seahorse, as far as I know, takes care.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I think, you're right.
But it's but for some reason the black widow male comes back, and it's got away. It's out, and then suddenly it comes back in.
No, I want to go in there again, and then
bam,
chomp.
Yeah, chomp. Gone.
It's a bit like, what's the other one? The praying mantis. They bite the heads off them.
Christ,
Jeez, God, that's
like, I mean, that's a vicious way. Now, you wonder, is it because food is scarce that the female, like there are some species of spiders where the babies eat the mother straight away.
Yeah. You just wonder, in the case of the praying mantis, is it something like that? The males have only one use, which is to impregnate to fertilize a female. And once they've done that, they're just useless. So nature kills them off like that,
Yeah.
Do you know another person I follow on, I don't know, one of the Instagram, I think she's Hannah Fry. She's this red-haired kind of English doctorate. She's really intelligent. Like, she's very smart, and she's very good on the social media. But she comes up every now and again. I would catch a thing of her talking about some really interesting and weird fact in nature or science. And the one I heard the other day, it was brilliant. Toxoplasmosis, okay?
Yeah.
This is this bug or organism that loves cat guts.
Yeah.
They live inside cats. And that's why...
It can kill human beings, can't it?
Not quite, but if you're a pregnant woman, you do not want to get infected with toxoplasmosis. You'll probably miscarry.
Oh my God.
So, that's why they say a woman who's pregnant and say loves the garden, they'd kind of say, you know what, give that a miss for a while, or geez, wear really good gloves. You know the way.
Wow.
But so what happens is this toxoplasmosis is pooped out by the cat, so it's in the cat poop, right? And then, of course, the life cycle is, well, geez, it has to get back into the cat gut somehow.
Yeah.
So what does it do? Well, the rats who eat anything eat the cat poop, right? And then, of course, it infects the rat.
Yeah.
And then apparently what it does is it migrates to the rat's brain, and basically, almost like one of these, The Last of Us, the fungus taking over.
It stuns the brain.
No, it's genius. It makes the rats sexually attracted to cats.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
And they've done testing whereby...
That's extraordinary.
Yeah, like they put a non-infected rat in a box, and in one part of the box is cat urine. It gets as far away as it can. But in the rat infected with toxoplasmosis, it's like, geez, I can't get enough of this stuff. So apparently, and she was doing it in a very funny way. She said, like, these rats, they kind of saunter up to a cat and go, "Hey, baby,"
oh my
and
God.
Doesn't end well with the rat. But that's how it gets back in the cat gut.
It's the same thing, I think, for the stickleback fish. There's a parasite in it. And the only place the parasite can reproduce is inside a bird's stomach, a flying bird.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So therefore, I don't know what came first, but
Jesus,
the parasite makes the stickleback slower.
Oh, yeah.
Not stuns it, but just...
So a bird can catch it.
So the bird can catch the stickleback and get into it. I mean, that is just... Look, that's obviously
evil genius.
But that's just coincidence. It just happened.
Evolution, I think. I mean, it's the old story. The way if you had infinite number of typewriters and an infinite number of monkeys, you'd eventually get War and Peace.
Yeah.
But it's amazing, isn't it? God. I mean, of course, we don't, because there's loads of other organisms or life cycles that failed. These are the ones that are survived.
Do you think we're on our own in the universe?
I'd like to think we're not. But
do you think some species has to be first? It could be us. Not some species, possible. Some planet. Let's say, sorry.
I mean, yeah, but if you think, the universe is so big, it's practically what?
It's 14.5
infinite,
Yeah.
Surely, in the billions of stars, there's a few at least that are like our sun, and in the right zone, that.
I think we've identified 8,000 so far.
Yeah. So
planets.
I mean, there may well be life on those planets, but the question is what sort of life, and I mean, it could be completely different. So, this.
Well, in theory, it should be, because if the meteoroid hadn't hit Earth, then the dinosaurs would be the dominant species, I presume.
Good point.
On this planet, because mammals wouldn't have survived.
Well,
or maybe not.
Or we would have remained little
creatures
like rats.
So there's no reason for them to be humanoid. Any other species, but also there's a thing called Fermi's paradox. Did you ever hear this?
Oh, yeah. What? Explain it. I forgot.
The paradox is that if there is extraterrestrial life, they should be here by now.
Yes, I know what you mean.
Because look how far we've come as a species in, say, 300,000 years.
Yep,
maybe. So if you have an extra 1 million
even in
years,
the last 1,000 years,
yeah. So if you have an extra 1 million years, okay. So imagine 65 million years ago the meteorite didn't hit the Earth. Then you'd have some species that had an extra 65, not an extra 65 million years, but all that time.
Well, in other words, we, like in Doctor Who, these reptilian humanoids.
I know, yeah. So it does, but Fermi's paradox says that they should be here by now.
Yeah.
Like it's and it is a fascinating why they're not,
what, though?
Unless they can see us and they don't bother with us.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Maybe we're being watched, and God, these nutters in this really crap corner of the universe. Let's just not. Yeah.
But I would say it's very much like us walking past a termite mound or an ant mound.
Yeah,
we just leave it.
Well, also it's like we don't. There's a termite mound. So what? Maybe we're the termites or something.
Yeah. Now, if we suddenly saw a termite taken off in a ship,
or firing laser guns or something,
then we might take a bit of interest, okay, hang on a second.
I mean, it's interesting. We talk about thousands of years and all that, right? But it's only in the last 150 years that we've been emitting radio waves.
Yeah,
and that's probably, if you like, how we'll advertise our presence. These waves going out into space. But given the sheer size of the universe, and I mean, it's just mind, but we can't, as human beings, get these distances so vast that, maybe, the nearest planet that has life on it hasn't been reached yet by our radio waves.
Well, I think the waves have gone 120 million or 120 light years anyway.
Right.
Yeah, so they've gone that far, haven't they?
Well, I guess so, yeah, that's a good point.
Or is that not...
no, radio wave. Would they travel the speed of light?
I thought they...
Well, they would. Electromagnetic, yeah.
I don't know. Maybe, but it's kind of...
Okay, but say 100 light years away at least.
Well, they've gone far enough for us to be saying, was that a good idea?
Yeah, that's true, actually.
It's gone... Yeah.
I've seen Independence Day.
Voyager 2, then Voyager 2. Is it?
Voyager.
Voyager. So they've gone as far out that some scientists have said, okay, I don't think that was a great idea.
Maybe, that's true. Do we really want to be advertising ourselves?
Exactly,
like running down, some dodgy street in the States in the nip saying, I've got loads of money. I mean, the other thing is, that is it. So if there are civilizations or things that are more advanced than us, well, sure, they would developed radio and so on earlier. And I think that's the principle of SETI, search for extraterrestrial life, whatever institute. And they're using these gigantic, what do you call them? Those dish things, like satellite dishes, whatever, trying to collect.
They're basically using the world as a dish, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like the whole
well,
world.
I mean, yes. Yeah. And they're trying to scan the sky for artificial, radio waves. But even that, apparently, it's literally like trying to find something on the beach by looking at a little section of sand every night. It's still are only looking at a tiny fraction of it. So you think well, how easy would it be to miss something? Yeah. So I don't know. But I mean, just if it is that big, are we that unique? Well, maybe we are. But I mean, I kind of think
somebody does have to be first.
Yeah.
And it is possible. I mean, it's like it's not possible. Sorry, it's probable.
Yeah,
that there is life.
Yeah,
because all life needs to get going is just a radioactive.
Like what?
Sorry, like some sort of.
Well, water, I suppose. H2O,
water,
liquid H. Yeah.
Well, silicon otherwise, you know.
That's true.
Silicon's the other choice, but it needs a nuclear reaction.
I'm a doctor, not a bricklayer.
Exactly. It needs some sort of nuclear reaction, which is not that difficult. Obviously,
no.
It's
incredibly common thing. Star is a big giant fusion reactor.
Yeah. So if we are the first, we are the first. But I doubt it. You know, I think that people are looking, and I think
it just seems unlikely. You know, I mean. If you think of the universe as essentially infinite in size, well, you know, you can't even comprehend that. You can't comprehend like something 1 million light years away. Well, that's never going to be relevant to us if you like. Certainly not in our lifetime. You know, it's unless they sort out that Einsteinian math. You know,
that bloody speed limit we have, you know? And because it would be nice to jump the all stars. You know, to go.
That actually, we had an interesting conversation, remember, with that pub quiz, and you said it, and the guy we were talking to was very dismissive of it, but we were talking about it'll probably be artificial intelligence as the first.
They'd be the first to go.
Yeah. And he was saying, well, why would they? And I'm saying, well, why wouldn't they? I mean, you know, they'd probably
because they're programmed to.
Well,
you know.
But even so, like, well, human beings want to do it, so why wouldn't they? You know, if they're an evolution of us, essentially, you know.
But why send something that needs air, that needs water, that needs food, when you can just send a machine that just needs a solar dish? Or
that's it. Or, for example...
like a wind flare or nothing.
You know, like, okay, just for sake, you know, Terminator-style Android robot, you can just switch itself off, you know, power down.
There's nothing going on to need to turn itself on.
You don't have to be in, you know, hypersleep or, you know...
I think humans will go because they're interested in going.
Oh yeah. Well, why do we leave the cave? Why do we decide to sail out to the sea? I mean, if you imagine, what was it? People going from Ireland to England in coracles or these tiny boats. I mean, you know, I was there waiting for a ferry in what is it, Holyhead?
Holyhead.
Absolute kip. Anyway, sorry, residents of Holyhead.
Great anyway, shipper. There's a great shipper there.
Is there?
Yeah, in Holyhead.
But you know, you're looking at the sea and you're thinking, what would possess someone to go? I mean, for starters, they've no idea how far or how long. I mean, my God.
Plus, they can't swim, probably.
No. Yeah, and they've God knows how much food they bring in water. I mean, not much, I would think.
Yeah.
It's funny that. Yeah, apparently the rest of Anglesey Island is really nice.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, a friend of mine was saying that. Yeah.
Well, Holyhead's just a port town. That's all it is. And port towns tend to be quite rough. A bit sort of rough and ready, you know. Yeah. That's the way they are. You know, like most port towns I've been to now, you'd find a few non-gentlemanly pubs. You know, where you'd have to watch your P's and Q's.
The butcher's dog, and the anchor and chain. You know. The type where you walk in the door, everyone stops talking and looks at you.
Yeah, exactly. The cutlass and yardarm or something.
Oh my God!
Like that, you know? Do you know why the pubs were called those names?
No, go on.
They was because your average peasant couldn't read. So if you had the cat and the canary, it would be a picture of a cat.
Oh, so they'd say, "Oh, that's a cat and that's a canary."
Well, some would say, "I see in the cat and the canary." They couldn't spell cat, they couldn't spell canary, but they could see the picture of the cat, the picture of the canary.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, so you got boozers like the red line, the white heart, you know. So
or the sorry, I'm probably not PC, but you know, they had a few really dodgy named ones in like Viz magazines.
So there you go about longevity. Look, we might get the stars, maybe. You know,
who knows?
And
well, I mean, great if we do, but I don't think it's going to be in our lifetime.
Okay,
you know. But hey, you know when you're talking about immortality and an afterlife and all. Well, if there isn't, let's say the atheists are right. Mm-hmm. Well, you're gonna be just dead anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like I feel the ending of The Sopranos, you know, which I definitely think was.
Oh yeah, did he kill or not?
What's his name? Tony Soprano. You know, because actually earlier in that season, himself and Bobby Jr. were talking about what it must be like. Is it like lights out? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that was the reference, and course, now he's dead anyway. Poor old James Gandolfini. But that's the thing. So is it, you're alive 1 second, you're dead, and that's it? Like,
well, I think it's, and you've probably seen this as a doctor, but
yeah,
you hear these stories about the white light and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's a program that our brain plays.
I think you're right.
And it's the last program it plays.
It could be like the brain is like, oh my God, this is the last gasp, and it's trying to release every bit of, glucose, energy it has, and maybe that, I don't know, affects your cortical, your optic center, and it, like a bright light, who knows?
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Because it is an incredible way to go, because you go towards this light where the people you love are all there.
Yeah.
And then, as you say, the machine then turns off.
Yeah.
And it's either there or it's not. Now, I'll just finish off with this. Did you ever hear of Pascal's wager?
Who's that?
Pascal's wager.
Oh, I think you told me. Yeah.
He was a guy, I'm going to guess, from the 17th century, maybe 18th century. But he said you're better off believing in God. Because if you believe in God and you die...
You go to heaven.
And there is no heaven or no hell, you haven't lost anything.
Well, good point.
Okay, if you believe in God and you die, and
sorry,
then you'll go to heaven because you believe in God.
Yeah.
If you don't believe in God and die, God said, "Well, why didn't you believe me?" Then you go to hell.
Yeah.
And if you don't believe in God and die, then there is nothing, then it doesn't make a difference.
It doesn't. Yeah.
So 3 out of the 4 scenarios
doesn't make a difference.
No, are beneficial.
Oh, right.
3 out of the 4 are beneficial. 1 out of 4 is not.
There's a couple of things wrong with that, I would say. Number one, isn't God supposed to be benevolent, all forgiving, and
not the Old Testament God?
If you turned up at the old pearly gates, and you'd lived a good life, you just weren't religious, and you said, "God, look at this!" Literally, God wants to look at this. Yeah. God, I was wrong. I should have believed you. I'm so sorry. But I did try to live a good life.
Sorry.
You see, I don't know. I would disagree there, but but that's actually a big thing.
As I always talk to Joe, and I ask Joe this question, I say, so if I was born in a desert island, never heard of God, any God, the Islamic, the Jewish,
like you'd no connection with anything else,
and I died, and I went, and will God punish me then? And he said,
No, I see. I think it's totally wrong, and I'll explain why.
And I said, "Well, no one told me about it. What am I supposed to, And
that's Baliks.
But now you've been told about it. See, this is the brilliant thing, because I've told you about it.
Yeah.
Now you have to make a moral.
I would instantly disprove that. Yeah. I mean, we're always being told we're created by God. God created the heaven and the earth. We're all made in the image of God.
We're all God's children.
Well, there you go. Yeah. So if we're all God's children, but you happen to be, born in the middle of nowhere and never, it's not your fault.
It's not your fault. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, so you're going to turn up in heaven, having lived a good life, maybe doing your best, in a sort of a humanist fashion, and then he says, "No, sling your hook, mate. But hold on, That's where I would have an issue with that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm planning for the deathbed conversion.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Like literally, when I feel my last hours coming, I'll be, oh God, please forgive me.
Do you know what Voltaire said when he was asked, "Do you renounce the devil?" on his deathbed?
Oh yeah.
Voltaire said, "Now's not the time to make enemies."
That's true. That's very good.
It's a great line, wasn't it?
Well, someone who's in the news too much these days, Mr. Trump.
Yeah.
A couple of months ago, he was kind of making things like, "Oh, you're talking about like, well, I hope I get into heaven." Yeah, like, which is like, oh boy, he must be aware of his own mortality for once. Yeah.
He's obviously not standing in 2028.
Oh God, no.
Okay.
All right.
We'll wrap it up there. Okay.
Good stuff. Another good episode, I hope.
Let's hope so. Adios, amigos.
Right. Bye for now.